So let's go on to the next question. This is for Dirk. You saw mine, right? Many times. This is Dirk. This is for you from James McCaffrey. Yeah. Being an accomplished drummer and having prior metal success, what was it like to get the opportunity to join Megadeth?
Thanks, James. It was pretty surreal. I mean, you know, it's not the kind of thing you expect or prepare yourself for. At least I did, and maybe some other people do. But I was just happy being a musician, touring. And then one day when I got the call and it all ended up, you know, how it did, it was just, you know, I'm still kind of pinching myself, and it's been almost 10 years now. So having grown up with this kind of music, you know, I couldn't be in a better place, really. And I think it's a testament not only to what Dave has built, but also to the friendship that he nurtures. You know, that's something that I really want to talk about for a second, is that, like, when you're in a band and you spend this amount of time together that we have and that we're going to in the next years, the most important thing outside of obviously the music is how we get along and how we make that time on the road and with all the work that we do the most positive for everybody, so that we all stay in good spirits and bring you guys the best we can. And Dave is amazing at that. James and Timo as well, obviously, and you know, that is really what bonds us together, is our friendship, our mutual respect for each other, for the music that we create, and our love for all of you guys.
Yeah. Dirk for mayor.
Now we have a mayor in the room.
There you go. Now you do, man. It's so good, man. But Dave is very lucky to have you, man, and we're lucky to have you in Megadeth, Dirk. So this is for Dave from Scott Kelly. Would you guys ever consider revisiting the idea of the Megacruise again? Yeah.
Actually, we are.
Oh, good, solid answer.
Oh, I better be hosting that.
Oh, great question there, Scott. They can't do anything without me. Come on, I love you guys. All right, so next question is from Scott Isom. This is for James, okay? Scott Isom writes, how do you approach the bass tone on this album compared to previous Megadeth records?
Scott, the bass tone it gets dictated by how thick everything gets around it. This particular record, I think Chris and I and Dave approached this very differently, because we started with a more pristine bass sound that I'm used to. And I kind of embraced it because Temu's riffs are really active, as you can tell by the last song we were listening to, as is Dirk's drumming. And the rapid fire vocal from that last song as well. I mean, there's a lot of space being filled. So there's a couple of ways you can go as a bass player. You can find spaces that aren't being filled and fill them up, or you can kind of play along. This is one of those albums where I really needed to insert more energy than melodic ideas. There just wasn't much room. And I was thrilled by it because it really helped me focus on what would make the songs kind of pop out of the speakers better. So the difference in tone on this record was we really kept it kind of clean, just a little bit of something to make me feel at home, like it was coming through a raging amp. And then later on, after everything else was on, then we went back and we reamped the thing as if it was on stage and got just that sweet little growl and the teeth on everything. And it's kind of funny because when you hear it that way, as opposed to when we were putting it down, all of a sudden it has that kind of live life that I'm used to and that everybody is used to when you listen to a live show. So that was the biggest difference. Before that, I just go in with a raging beast of an amplifier and just give it hell, So this was a little more controlled.
Nice, Lomenzo, yeah! Bass sounds awesome on the 11 songs. Okay, let's go to the next question. Senor de Mustaine, it's for you from Alex Lopez. Dave, what would you tell the young Dave knowing what you know now? We're all holding our breath.
Fuck you's still a great word. I don't know, I would probably say don't take shit from anybody, because that's been my motto my whole career. I don't take shit from anyone. and it's worked.
Taking no prisoners, taking no shit. Dave Mustaine, Megadeth. What? What? Okay. Thank you, brother. This is from Michael Chang for Timu. Finland, yeah. Do you know there's a fact about Finland? Per capita, it's got the most metal bands of any country in the world. Per capita, Finland. Yeah, Finland. Dave chose.
I think they're up
wisely.
there with suicides too.
Yeah, way to bring it down, Dave. It's cool, man. Let's go watch jumper videos after this, all right? Shit, dude. All right. Michael Chang, Timu, when you first joined, what are some of the things Dave taught you about playing Megadeth songs? Any particular techniques or surprising accents or rhythms did you learn?
Yeah, there was a lot of things. I'd say three main things that we focused on with Dave. One was the groove, the other one was tone, and the third one was the fingerings of some of the riffs. So with groove, Dave has some very special ways of feeling things that make it Megadeth, and that's something I really needed to learn. Sometimes they would say that this needs more push or pull or push and pull, and that took me a while to kind of understand what he meant, and I think, and after a while I got what it was, and our playing started to lock more and more that we played live together. Tone-wise, one thing that we talked about was how tight the palm muted parts need to be on guitar. So like where your hand is exactly on the string, small movement can make a big difference in the guitar tone. And also like the way that you hold your pick and how you hit the string, the angle of the pick, really tiny details, but can make a big impact on the way that the riff sounds. And the third thing was the fingerings. Like Dave has some special ways of fingering things, like his legendary spider.
Wait a minute.
Spider.
Let's just come on. That was funny.
Like the spider fingering technique, for example. But the way that I learned. Sorry about that.
It's perfect, team.
So bad enough. I got you coming at me.
Translates
I got both
to
these
you.
guys.
Come on, I'm a little kid. It's fart jokes and boobies and stuff. Yeah, continue on, team.
So the way that I had originally learned a lot of this stuff was before we really got together. I was sending some audition videos, and then I mostly learned by ear, and I sent like first versions to Dave to check out the videos, and then Dave sent me some pointers that okay, here I use it a little bit different way and maybe focus on this and this thing, and then we had like Zoom meetings first and analyzed everything, and yeah, those fingerings were sometimes something that I couldn't pick by ear, even though I watched like some of the live performances from years before, but then there were some parts that were harder to pick by ear, and then that's where they really helped, like to show what his fingerings are. So that's how things came together, and then of course in the jam room before the shows, we are still, when we go back to learn new songs, it's always fun to, you know, it's amazing first to see how the things come back to Dave, because there's songs that we've put into the set list now that Dave hasn't played in a long time, that the band hasn't played in many years, and sometimes it only takes Dave like one go to remember how it was, and it's pretty amazing to see.
Thank you, Timu. Yeah. Okay, I just want to help Dave with anything. I'm like, I got you, dude. All right, hey, we're doing this live. Hey, world. Hi, we're in Laverne, Megadeth, Tennessee. So we're on TalkShopLive, and there's really cool ways to buy the different formats of the Megadeth album that is out next Friday. You can get it. There's a cool liner with the guy's autograph. It's TalkShop. There's a cool little button as you're watching.
I would say with James, he's kind of like our cool guy in the band. Timu is kind of like an alley cat, and Dirk is kind of like our big happy porch dog. And, you know, if you would have said describe him, it would have been a little bit better than, you know, 2 or 3 words. I could have done better.
Well, we love that you gave us words. Dave words.
But you knew what I was talking about.
Yeah. All right, here. This one is for Dirk from Bill McKenna. With as physical as drumming is, how do you take care of your body so you can keep going at this pace, especially on tour?
Yeah, great question. Obviously, it takes dedication, you know, and so I just make that my priority when we're working, which is, you know, gonna really kick in now. It's about staying fit. It's about training pretty much every day. So I do some fitness. I do a lot of stretching, some yoga. I'm always playing drums. I've said this before, but I never really stop. You know, I'll stop at most like maybe a week here and there, but I'm always behind the kit. Even when I'm home and we're not touring, I'm always playing, whether it's, you know, practicing by myself or practicing some of the songs. And that's really the key, because it is a very physical thing. We play an hour and a half, an hour 45-minute shows, and that's no joke, you know, to do that night after night. So for all of us, you know, we all work at that. We work out together on the road. Dave and I were doing a bunch of yoga on our last tour in Europe, and those things really do make a difference. And you know, it's not always easy to get good sleep when you're touring. So you know, you got to make up for it in any way you can.
Very cool, and it's good advice for everyone here and watching. Take care of yourself. Taking care of your body is the coolest thing that you can do. It's like exercising, eating right, you know, drinking the good, best tequila. You know, it's important to take care of your body the right way. So nice job, Dirk. All right, let's go on here with our Megadeth Q&A. Let there be shred. Dave, this is a question for you from Mason Washer. What advice can you provide for aspiring younger musicians looking to make their way through the current music world?
Where are you? Okay. Okay. I would be doing you a serious disservice if I tried to tell you in one sitting how to make it, because it is very difficult. And, you know, first off, most people that put a band together do it with their friends, right? If you ever have to upgrade somebody, say somebody can't make a show and you need to get a person that fills in and they're way better than the other guy, and then you have to decide, well, do I keep, you know, my buddy, or do I think about my career? That's why I was never interested in playing with my friends, not even casually. And that's why our friendships are pure, because they started off on business. And the other thing I would say is be careful what you say yourself. It's a lot easier to turn a no into a yes than a yes into a no. Somebody asks you to do something, somebody asks me, I usually say, perhaps, maybe, I don't know, let me check. And then, you know, I can walk away and say, yeah, fucking chance in hell I'm doing that. Right? And then you gotta get a good team. You gotta get a good manager, a good attorney, and a good accountant. And if you can put all those things together, then you gotta start with having good music. And, you know, that's the main part of it all, because if your stuff sucks, you know, doesn't matter what you do. You could have a billionaire dad like some of these people have, and they get successful because their dad goes out and buys 1 million of their own records. But you guys know what I'm talking about. Come on. It used to be called payola, right? Yeah. The world is full of schnooks. And stuff like that happens all the time. Now for us, you know, we've scratched and clawed all the way, and we've had a lot of people that have fallen by the wayside, you know, and I'm friends with some of the people, some I'm not, but you gotta ask yourself, if somebody quits, you know, that's one thing. If they get fired, it's another. And I don't know very many people that get fired that walk off and say, man, my boss was a swell guy, you know. So you know, that's really important. You have boundaries. boundaries and a good team.
Good advice, Dave. Thank you. Yeah. All right, continuing on with our Megadeth Q&A. This is from Robert Curtis, and this is for you, Lomenzo. Could you describe your musical relationship with Dave and how it has evolved over the years?
Robert Curtis. Dave, you know, it's interesting. When I came into Megadeth, I wasn't as familiar as perhaps all of you are with the entire catalog, because I had a career going back in the 80s and I was paying attention to that. So, you know, Megadeth was a delightful peripheral metal band that I really enjoyed, but I really kind of sucked in the hits that I saw on MTV or heard in the clubs, you know, and that's kind of what stuck with me. So, I've always been diverse in what I'm interested in musically. So when I got the opportunity to play with Dave, it was actually funny. I was sitting at home and I just finished with another band and I was completely depleted and exhausted and tired of it, you know. And a friend of mine calls up and he goes, you know, Dave Mustaine is looking for a bass player. And I thought, yeah, I don't know if I can do tour, metal, the whole thing. He goes, just put together a package and I'll send it to him. Just do it. So I sent Dave a package of some music that I had that was somewhat in that genre, not completely. It was more progressive than straight metal. Dave calls me up the next day after he gets it, and he goes, "Hi, look, I'm looking for a bass player, and I listened to your stuff, and I think you're really good. I'd like you to come down." And I thought that was really kind of direct, open, and encouraging. There was no hype. It was just, I like your music. Come and play. So I was enticed to come and get together with him. Met with him in an office with, I don't know if you remember, there was that office on Sunset that you had that management team early on, right? And it wasn't, but I assumed that I was going to, do a rehearsal thing. So I brought a 412 amp that I could fit in my car and a big stupid bass that I used to play back then.
412 amp is giant.
Yeah, but it fit in the back of my Barracuda. So anyway, I go up and there I am on Sunset Plaza. It's the one that you see in the movies and TV shows where everybody's kind of sipping wine out on Sunset Boulevard in California. And I'm pushing this stuff through and bringing it up to the office, and there we were in a little office. The secretary's desk and the couch basically took up all the room that I would need to even bring that amp in. But somehow I brought it in. I met Sean and his brother, Sean's his name, Glenn Drover, and we spent a little time talking. Then Dave whisks in, and I had my stuff set up, but not in any particular form. And he talked a while, and he goes, "Well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to Dubai in a couple of weeks, and we need to rehearse, and you're going to have to learn 23 songs." And I was like, and I was like, okay. So he goes, well, you got your stuff here, play. And so I started playing what I listened to the night before. And so I'm playing the riff to Peace Sells, and Dave looks at me kind of weirdly, not impressed, but it seemed unimpressed to me. He goes, yeah, that's Peace Sells, that's good. And, he goes, and then I played one of the other songs that he goes, yeah, that's pretty good too. Why don't you play something like that stuff you sent me? And I was like, the top of my head, I was like, oh, that was the Hideous Sun Demons. And I was like, shit, I don't even know how to play that stuff. So I just turned on some pedals and made a lot of noise and just started getting nuts. And he goes, yeah, that's great. Okay, so we're rehearsing next week. Together. Okay, so now to the present. I'll try not to take too much more time getting esoteric here, but I've learned a lot from him. I've learned about the style of this music that in a very deep way that I never possessed. You know, I listened to the music peripherally, played along with Judas Priest and all that stuff, but Megadeth has a swing to it that's kind of indefinable, and there aren't any other bands that actually do it this way. And after, as Temu was saying, sitting down with Dave and watching his hands and having him stop and go, no, I always kind of pull it back and forth this way, I swing it this way. And once you kind of grasp onto that, all of a sudden it starts sounding like the band, you know? So my musical relationship with Dave is that he's actually taught me a lot. He's made me very good at this music, which I don't think I could have done on my own, you know? So that is where we're at.
Thank you, James.
Very cool. James Metal Lomenzo. This is a question from Brian Keenan for Mustaine. What led you to the whole Megadeth Arizona concept? This was well ahead of its time.
Sure was.
Yeah.
Megadeth Arizona, for those of you that don't know, was a website we had back in 1994 when Euthanasia came out, and we had the first ever web page for a band, and nobody had that, and they didn't have anything. So we got together with our label and we developed a web page that was the landing page. We developed this Netscape chat room, and we had some JPEGs back then that were taking you to really, really bad images, but nobody'd ever seen this before. Fucking Gene Simmons calls up and goes, "I want a website like Mustaine's." Yes, for free.
No, he didn't say that part. I mean,
So cool. Okay, you were way ahead of its time for sure. Another one here from Alessandra Bricio. This is for Timu. Please walk us through how you became part of the Megadeth family.
okay, so like Dirk said earlier, these are the kind of things that you don't really expect to have that call. But yeah, one day I was in a guitar store actually in Helsinki, summer of 23, and I got a message from Kiko. I think a couple days earlier he had messaged me like, "Could you send me your number? I'd like to call." And I thought, yeah, he probably wants to talk about some guitar technique or something. At that time I had like a profile as a like a rock star teacher. I had been teaching a lot of people online, and I thought that maybe Kiko wants to talk about like picking technique. That was my first thought. And then I'm waiting for the call, and I'm in the guitar store, and he calls and he starts to talk about like, "Would you be free in the fall next year?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then he explained the whole thing that he might have to step away from touring for some family stuff, and he needs a substitute, somebody to fill in for him. And first it was supposed to be, I think, half of the tour, and everything was kind of unsure at that point. But he kind of explained me the main thing, and then said that could I do like a couple videos and send the guys and see more of my playing. And then the moment the call ended, then I just like took a deep dive in the material, started learning right away, and I think the next day I sent a first song, and then the next day after that the next song, and I got good feedback. And then I think it was a few days later then I got on a call with Dave, and the way that happened was like I was texting with Kiko and he was giving me some feedback, and then he was like, "Oh, by the way, can you call with Dave in 2 minutes?" And, so I had like no time to prepare for that and no time to get nervous, and Dave was very warm and welcoming, and there was like it was easy to break the ice. I think we already got along really well on that first phone call, and then we talked more, and then soon after that Dave invited me to the Wacken show that was happening, and Marty was gonna come there and feature with the band, and they wanted me to see kind of how everything works on and off the stage with the band and meet the crew as well. And I took my guitar to that trip, and I thought that we're probably gonna do some backstage jamming together. But then what ended up happening was the morning of that Wacken show, there was a sound check early in the morning, nobody in the festival ground yet, and you guys do your sound check and it's done, and then at the end of the sound check Dave says, "Oh, do you want to come and play one song with us?" And then we played Angry Again, and that was the first time we played together on stage, nobody in the audience, and it was a lot of fun. And then after that we jammed backstage. I watched the whole show from the side of the stage, filmed everything with my phone to kind of see like how everything works on the stage, and studied hard. And then it still took some time before everything was like set in stone, because it was unsure still at this point whether Kiko can make it to the tour or not. So I think it was only like a week before the US tour started in September that I had the visa in my hand, that I was sure that, okay, now it's gonna happen. But I tried to stay like over prepared at all times, and then when the final call was made, then I felt like I'm ready to do this, and then that's why I think it felt relaxed and yeah, because everybody was so welcoming, and yeah, that's why it was easy to step in for me.
Again, welcome to the Megadeth family, my friend. Another question here in our Let There Be Shred Megadeth Q&A from Joseph Mills. This is for you, Dave. Throughout your career, it shows that you went above and beyond to make every album unique and special. With this being the final, was it more difficult to find the lyrics and composition that satisfied you?
This was lyrically it was kind of tough. There were a couple songs that were hard to write, but for the most part, the atmosphere in the studio was just so productive and positive, and I don't know if you guys really like what you do for your profession, but I found myself really being excited to get to work in the morning, and you know, I've got a job that is very bizarre because say I didn't play guitar, say that I made toothpicks, and I didn't work most of the year, and I just show up and make toothpicks for a little while, and then I go back home. People would think, what a fucking cush life, you know, but it's not like that. There's so much stuff that we need to do. The preparation that went into this event here, the people behind the scenes went above and beyond, and you know, and just like you said before, you know, we've got our relationship with you guys, and these are some other family members that have really gone out of their way. You know, Jose's a dear friend of mine, and I want to thank you for coming and hosting us. It's been great. You guys, what do you think?
Love you, Dave. One of those out of body moments just happened with me right there. Like, he's talking to me right now. What the fuck? What? Because I'm just listening to you, and I just love and admire him, and that was nice, Dave. Thank you for saying that. Wow. Love you guys. Yeah. Megadeth. All right. So let's continue on with our Q&A here. This is for Dirk from Nick Garantis. Sorry, brother. Dirk, what has been your favorite memory together on the road?
Oh man, there's so many, it's hard to pick one, but I think playing Budokan in Japan some years ago was really special. That was actually a gig that, if I remember correctly, you guys were supposed to do that way back, and then never ended up happening. And so we got the chance to not only play that show, but it was transmitted worldwide so people could watch online, and Marty came and played 3 songs with us. So that was just, you know, that was just an unbelievable experience to be on stage with not only Dave, but also with Marty. And yeah, so that one really stands out for me, and I love Japan, so yeah.
Yeah, Japan. So, today's, yes. Wait, I have a question I'm just going to insert real quick. Who's the better ping pong player? Go.
Timo, without a doubt.
Who's second best ping pong player?
I don't know.
It ain't me.
To be, yeah.
We're still tabulating.
These two.
Okay, so it's between Dirk and Lomenzo, number 2, and Dave's in a distant 4th
Dirk
place.
and James ain't no number 2.
No, he's not.
No, these two are the ping pong guys.
I'm pretty good. I'm not bad.
Yeah, no offense, brother, but I mean, take it.
Let's take this to the ping pong table. Fuck it, let's go now.
I thought that was going to be
I saw
the master
paddles.
class, man.
There was paddles. There's a ping
There
pong.
is a ping pong table
Yes.
now. Can you imagine, you know, young Dave talking to old Dave? You're going to have a ping pong table on your rider. Do you know what a rider is? A rider's like our menu that we asked for from the venues. You see the guys at the venues we're playing at. A fucking ping pong table.
You ever get a little miniature one? That'd be funny on your table. What is this? We're not playing here. Okay, continuing on with our Let There Be Shred Q&A. And if you're watching on home live on Talk Shop, hit that shop button, buy the new final studio Megadeth album. There's autographs from all 4 members, and there's an insert different formats available as well. Thank you for watching. This is from Sean Davis for Dave Mustaine. Is there an approximate amount of time on how long this final tour might last?
I don't know, honestly, because the condition of my hand is, right now I can still play, but it's progressing. So I don't know about that part. As far as us being willing to play, you know, I'll play as long as I can, and I hope it's a while, you know.
It will be a while.
But you know, the crazy thing, I've been thinking about what would I do if we had a tour booked and I just couldn't play anymore, and I had to ask somebody to play for me, you know, what that would be like, and I didn't like the idea. I just, it's not me, and I'm gonna play until the last second, and when I can't, that's when I'm gonna stop.
Well, we love you, Dave. You're going on for a long time. You got the world and the energy of this wave behind you, man. We have your back big time, Dave. Come on now. Let's go to another question here from Samantha Walton for James. If you were not a musician, what would you be doing instead?
When I first picked up the bass, I was also in high school learning photography, like the traditional kind, you know, where you would develop film and do all that. I know a lot of you know all about that stuff. I always wanted to be a photographic journalist. Travel the world, take a look, try and grab a story in photos. I was so impressed by the magazines of the day, like there used to be Time and Life, and you just see these portions of things going on in the world that you couldn't imagine, but you could kind of feel them, you know, just by looking at the photos. So yeah, I would absolutely have tried to be a photojournalist to some measure, you know.
Very cool. Memento, take your picture afterwards for $20 a pop. I get 5.
I have my iPhone, yes.
Okay. This is from Frank Castillon. This is for Dave Mustaine. It's been about almost 15 years since your unbelievable autobiography, Mustaine, A Life in Metal, was released. Have you had any plans to supplement your autobiography for us mega fans?
Well, we've had another book that came out, which was about the making of Rust in Peace, which I thought was something a lot of people had come up to me and asked me about that record in particular, because it is a pivotal record for the metal community, and I'm happy to have been part of it. You know, if I wasn't part of it, I would be a huge fan of it. And say the question again.
A book, a follow-up
Yeah,
to.
I was trying to think where I was going with
You
this.
talked about.
Just hang on. I know where I'm going. So that's not really. This is the part I was trying to bring up, the connection, the addition to my first memoir, because it's not really an addition on my memoir. It was just an isolated period that I went into more depth in. Now, I do have something that I finished, and we turned it in, and the publishers are very happy with how it is right now. It's called In My Darkest Hour, and it's about my cancer treatment, and what it was like, and how much I drew strength from you, and that we were in the middle of making The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead at the same time. So how difficult that was for me, and how much strength and support I got from the band and the other people that were part of the team. So that's going to be coming out soon. And so far, my first 2 books were bestsellers. So I mean, you know, I don't really care about having to sell and get numbers. I just want to be able to have that story get out there and help people that may be afraid. They may get the diagnosis and think, fuck, I'm going to die. Because that's kind of what I thought. And then a few minutes later, I thought to myself, I'm fucking Dave Mustaine.
Yes.
And I tackled it like everything else that I do, and I want to be able to share my experience, strength, and hope with any of you that ever get sick and need someone.
That's awesome, Dave. When's that book coming out? Next year?
I don't know when it's coming out, but it got all the clearances are done now, and I just saw the cover on it, and I kind of liked it, but I'm not sure yet. So that's one of the last things, and then it's going to run through the attorneys, and then the attorneys look at it and go, "You can't say that, because that's an invasion of privacy." But I've talked about that for 40 years. Well, we're attorneys. And we've got to come up with a reason to take your money.
Exactly. All right, two more here in our Megadeth Let There Be Shred Q&A. This is for Timu from Dennis Tomlinson. What are some of your favorite solos to play from the Megadeth catalog?
All of them. I mean, there's so many. I guess the obvious answer would be Tornado of Souls. I mean, it's of course, amazing solo. But I like some deeper cuts as well, and well, deeper cuts. But I love Skin on My Teeth. I love Devil's Island. And of course, Hangar 18 has so many cool little licks there, that exotic stuff that's really cool. And of course, from the new album, Let There Be Shred, and probably Another Bad Day is one of my favorites.
Very cool, Timu. He's always eating his Shreddy Flakes in the morning. And his favorite horror icon is Shreddy Krueger. Awesome, right? Sorry. I love horror movies. Okay. Oh, remember 1989 shocker Wes Craven movie, Megadeth, No More Mr. Nice Guy? I love that movie. I love Megadeth being a part of that. I was a little kid and I went to the theater and I heard No More Mr. Nice Guy by Megadeth. I was like, what the fuck? So cool. Anyways. Okay, this is for you, Dave, from Fernando Fuentes. Yeah! Orale, Fernando. Thank you, Dave, for the music and impact you've had on fans all around the world, including Fernando. Looking back on your career, what are you most proud of, and what do you look forward to next?
But I'm really proud of the Grammy, not because it's a Grammy, but because we persevered for so long, and we finally won it, and it's a big finger to the establishment and the propaganda machine and all of these artists that seem like they're in on something. You know what I mean? You know, some people that you watch them go on and to mega stardom, and you ask yourself, how did that happen? You know, yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you.
I was there when you won that Grammy and you guys accepted that award. It was a really cool moment. If you actually watch that video on YouTube, that's me yelling really loud. You can hear me, I swear. It is me, and I was very proud of that moment too, because these guys had 11 Grammy nominations.
I think it was 12. I think we won on the 13th try.
Yeah.
That fucking number haunts me. Anyway, so there were a couple other moments that were really great. You know, we got some awards in some other areas, like the Doris Day Award, which was called the Genesis Award. It was for Countdown to Extinction, because we had spoken out against animal cruelty. You know, that whole thing was about them having caged hunts. I don't know if you know what that means, but they would get these exotic cats and go out into a field somewhere in a wilderness part of the States, and they would go out there with some pussy hunter that would let the cage open, and the cat would run out a couple yards and they would shoot him. No hunt, no balls. And we spoke out against it. We had to. Someone had to.
A lot of cool talk moments, and I think the end of Fernando's question, and what do you look forward to next?
Say the first part I didn't hear.
What do you look forward to next? That was the second part of Fernando's question.
Okay. the question that keeps on giving. What's next? Well,
what do you look forward to?
probably another beer and a pee, I guess.
Yeah.
You mean after that? We're going to be going on tour in Canada, and then down South America, and then over to Europe, and then back here, and then we're going to play Pin the Tail on the Donkey with the world map until we're done.
That's right. Amen. And that concludes, my friends, the Megadeth Q&A. Let there be shred. Yeah, that was part 2. Now we're going right into part 3. Thank you, Talk Shop, for watching us. So now it's...
The stage has been lit, get up on your feet. Heart starts to pound, everyone get off your seat. My sphincter spontaneously combust into flames. Destroying pretenders, only ashes remain. On the day I was born, a guitar in my hands, the earth started rumbling, a thunderous command to bash and to thrash, to bang my head, to smash my guitar, let there be shred. The end starts to roar, a tsunami of sound, controlling the air, shaking the ground. Guitars are all screaming, they squeal with delight, clawing fretboards away at the speed of light. On the day I was born, a guitar in my hands, the earth started rumbling, a thunderous command to bash and to thrash, to bang my head, to smash my guitar, and let there be shred. At the end of it all, they are left in my wake. One by one they fall, one by one they break. Faster than lightning, a machine gun on meth. Dead on arrival, a guitar beat to death. On the day I was born, a guitar in my hands, the earth started rumbling, a thunderous command to bash and to thrash, to bang my head, to smash my guitar, and let there be shred.